had the tools, we had talent. It's Miller time.
Welcome back to Pitstain Hobbies, the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube. I'm your host, Ian. I have a doctorate in idiocracy. I actually minored in mediocrity as well. And we're finishing up our Belt Gizmo. This thing, Ectolabs, has outdone themselves with this one. I think I probably said it a few times in the previous videos, but this thing is sick. We got our daughter board done last episode. It looks friggin' badass. I mean, it's Afterlife, but this is probably what they're going to use in the new Firehouse, or whatever the code name is for the movie that's supposed to be coming out December 20th of 2023. Fingers crossed. You know, they got that Hollywood's got some strikes going on, so hopefully we get what we want. But I'd rather just have it be done right than right on time. They could delay if they need to. We got our functional electronics soldered in yesterday. This was a little nerve-wracking. It wasn't hard. I was just worried I would booger it up. I actually did booger up at one point, and two of the leads for that black and silver voltage regulator, I think, I actually soldered two of them together with a giant blob. That took a little bit of finagling. I had to use a solder wicking tool. Not really a solder wicking tool, just anything I had with some bare wire that would take some of the solder away. But we've come back from that almost near calamity. But yeah, she's working. It's beautiful. It turned on the first time. I was shocked, just as you are. Like, how did this dumbass build this thing? It's not that hard, everyone. If I can do it, pretty much I think anybody, including trained circus animals, could probably do it. And do some things better than me, according to my wife. I think she'd rather have a trained chimpanzee than me on certain days of the week. Yeah, that being said, we're going to do the meat and potatoes. We're going to get all the pretty bits on here. They're not functional, but they are gorgeous, and they just look ridiculously amazing. We're going to start by priming and painting our Nixie shelf. I think I got the right term there. And I've already got ahead and gave it a light sanding with 1000 grit sandpaper. Take out any little scuffs or things, not too many. And then I wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol, let it dry, and now we're going to spray it with some metal primer. I just happened to use Mr. Hobby metal primer. Tamiya stopped selling theirs, or I'd have that. Then we're going to hit it with the black Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500. It's a very fine finishing primer, so it's basically the finish coat. It's going to look great. And we do have some semi-gloss clear we could throw on. Well, one, I'm going to coat this little Sanyo guy right here because I boo-booed on my last board and I didn't realize the dry transfer was not clear coated over, and I peeled half of it off. But Dave was kind enough to send me a replacement very quickly, I may add, all the way from the UK. So that was nice. Customer service is like absolutely off the charts with Ectolabs. The link's in the description below. You can go check it out. You'll have to join the waiting list for his next batch. They're fairly small batches because he's just one guy. But this came out of some guy's little workbench in his home. It's friggin' amazing. It's just awesome. We do have to give some credit to Spongeface because I think the sourcing for the brown circuit board was his little magic recipe. So there we go. And we're going to get to work. I'll be right back with all the parts laid out. Okay, so this is going to be way easier than the last Gizmo board as far as all these little legs for the big, the white Sanyo chips. It was extremely tedious on the first kit. I got through it. It was fine. It wasn't difficult at all. It was just a lot of tediousness. And this one is far less tedious. So we're snapping these long strips, okay, of these little L-shaped, electrodes. We're snapping these into sections of 9, and wow, so much easier than what we were doing on the last kit. Not only did Dave improve the looks of this, he improved the build experience. Because I think even he would admit, yeah, it was a little bit of a pain in the butt to do 9. Watch me count. Look at that, I can count. Oh, man. 3, 6, 9. Look at that. Dora the Explorer is going to come in here and pat me on the back for good maths. Okay. I'm going to snap all these apart, and then we will be back, and we'll go over. This is all new, the way these things go in. Different than the last board. So I'm going to cover a bit of that. Be right back. Okay, so we've got all our little sections of angled right angle pins set up. Now this is, I'm so happy. These guys, you just drop them right in. Oh, come on, Ian. Well, I'm holding this well above my normal line of sight, but yeah, they just pop right in. Easy peasy. Truly easy this time. The whole pin disco with the chips on the first board looked great, came out amazing. Pain in the butt. And then what we're going to do is lift these up slightly and slide this jig under there. Perfect. If you just put it down on the table, that pushes them up high enough to get the jig under. And you get the jig in there, and then just push them down tight against the jig. All right. And then we're going to tape that. So let's just rest this here on my little flux can. And I'll get these taped down, and then I'm going to get them soldered on. We'll be right back. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't do any live soldering on camera, but these are the decorative bits, so we can do this. It's pretty easy. I got my soldering iron at 700. I have a nice chisel tip here, and our solder, and it's pretty simple. It's just get it on there. There we go. There we go in. A little more. There we go. And these, I mean, you want to get them all soldered on, but it's, you know, less critical the type of solder joint you get with the decorative electronics. And always wipe the tip of your soldering iron after every operation. Before you put it back in the holster, you should wipe it on the wet sponge and jab it in to the brass wool. But here we go. That's really it. Soldering is not that hard. Again, an idiot like me can handle that. So that's that. Let's see here. And we taped down, and we've got our little jig, and there we go. They're in there. Nice. Okay, try to be quick with the solder because you don't want these to heat up so much it like melts this plastic here. But yeah, we might actually need to keep the jig in there for a little bit. I'm gonna wait for Dave to tell me to pull that jig out because the instructions are the instructions. So there we go. I did some soldering on camera. I hope everybody's happy. You know who you are. All right, be right back. Okay, we got one set of pins done. Looking fabulous. So much easier to do. And nice, perfectly flush at the perfect height. There, this is awesome. So I gotta do this 3 more times on here. I'm enjoying it. Not nearly as tedious as those previous chips. So yeah, we'll go just more soldering. Yeah, back to soldering. We'll be back in a few. So I'm over here soldering. I'm listening to the motion picture score from Ghostbusters Afterlife. And it's a very interesting score. It's really phenomenal. It's honestly, I almost like it better than Ghostbusters 1's score. A lot more than Ghostbusters 2's score. That score, I don't know. It had its own vibe. A lot of baby themes because of Oscar. But the really interesting part is this score, since it's children, I can feel and sense a little bit of a Goonies influence almost. Rob Sorensen did the score, by the way, for Afterlife. And yeah, there's hints of Goonies in there, and then suspense. There's hints of almost Predator's score in there at time to time, and it's clearly still obviously very Ghostbusters-y. A lot of tuba, you know, as usual. But yeah, really just a phenomenal score. Almost as phenomenal as the Ectolabs Belt Gizmo. Okay, we're almost done with these, and I just felt like talking to you people a little bit about the motion picture score. If you can literally see the movie in your mind when you listen to just the score of the movie, they've hit themselves a home run out of the park. That's a dead giveaway for me. Like, if I can literally see the movie listening to that score, then the composer has earned their paycheck. One of a movie titled Ghostbusters. That score was sort of all over the place, and there was a lot of actual music in it, as opposed to orchestral numbers. And I much prefer an entirely instrumental score, other than maybe Little Shop of Horrors, but that's basically a musical. So there we go. So we're just finishing up. We've got our last two little thingamajobbers here to put on the board. I look like a complete weirdo with these magnifying glass things on. Yeah, I mean, you can't look much more nerdy than this. You can use your magnifiers. You can't see jack squat up close anymore. Oh yeah, love that LASIK surgery, but now we've got to have these damn things in front of my face all the time. So there we go. Uh-oh, that was a little oral flatulence. I apologize, especially to the German people. There we go. And just in case anyone's wondering, no one's wondering, no one asked. This belt gizmo that I built over a year ago, I don't know, a while. I have this running on a little, you can't see it, it's in back of this stupid cloud that's in the way. It's a little AC adapter, a little wall wart, a mains adapter for you guys in England, UK, whatever we're calling it these days. And this has hundreds of hours of runtime on it. Hundreds. I'm not exaggerating. If anyone's a subscriber to the channel, you see this thing running in every video, and my videos are 35 minutes long, let's say, and I'm down here for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours filming that, and this thing's running the whole time. Live streams on Friday nights, it's running for 3, 4 hours. This thing, it's built like a friggin' tank. I gotta give it to Dave on that too. His electronics are incredibly durable. Watch I say that and it fries itself, but no, I'm confident it won't. And if it did, I'm sure it would be the Arduino controller that would go, and I could just email Dave, and hopefully he could whip one up. But yeah, I mean, hundreds of hours. I don't know if anybody's Ectolabs Belt Gizmo gets as much runtime as mine, but this one has been tortured with runtime. So another shout out. I mean, this is like, commercially available electronic device, and this probably has as much runtime as this thing, but this is a thing, on Amazon and whatnot. This is bespoke, and it's just killing it on the runtime. Eats batteries like my wife a Captain Crunch cereal, but just so everyone's aware, you're paying for quality. I expect the same out of this one. I have no doubt it will last just as long. It's not a heavy load on the circuitry. But yeah, okay, let me stop flapping my lips and bloviating about motion picture scores, which half of you might not even care about. But yeah, if you do, comment below what your favorite Ghostbusters score is. Ghostbusters 1, 2, or 3, aka Afterlife. Let me know, and we'll be right back. Okay, all of these are done. And by the way, I think I might have said Rob Sorensen before. It's Simonson, the composer for the Afterlife score. There we go. All those are in. And now we're going to start on other little componentry. And these instructions are ridiculous. Like, I've never seen... This is ridiculous, the level of detail. So it's like, you can see exactly which way the colored stripes go. All that, everything. It's beautiful. So we're gonna get started on those, and we will be right back. All right, we're getting going. These little 3-legged transistors are just a touch tricky. What you want to do is they come like this, okay, and you want to spread out the pins just a tiny bit to get them in there, and you want them all to be the same height, and it's just a matter of getting them. It requires a little bit of a push at the end to get it to seat just so. Nothing super tricky, just I figure make life easier by spreading those pins just a tiny bit, just a skosh, a hair, an iota, and then pushing them down. Okay. So if they're angled a little bit, that's nothing to worry about because you can bend them back and forth to make them vertically plumb after the fact. But they're a little finicky to get in. So just spread those legs. Oh God, what did I say? Spread those legs. Jeez, Ian. Wow. Okay then. Spread the pins a tiny bit. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so we got these on. This little white square blocky thing. This is a new one. That's an empty spot on the previous version of the Belt Gizmo. As you can see, we got all of our transistors in. Those are looking lovely. Oh, you just wait right here. That's a fairly tedious part, but oh my God, will it make it look so good? So there we go. Here we are. Ah, the helping hand. Really, this larger thing, the helping hands, I'd say almost mandatory. It's not in the instruction sheet as required tools. It's not absolutely required, but good God, does it make life easier? Compared to when I built this one, I didn't have a proper set of these like long arm helping hands, and they, like they say, they really help. Okay, enough helping hands jokes. Give yourself a hand. Oh no, I did it. I'll be right back. Okay, it was time for solder blobs, and who doesn't love solder blobs? I mean, they're called blobs. It's great. So these are the little dots of solder you're gonna put all over the place here. And it really just adds to the sense of realism that this is an actual functioning cool thing, and it is, but even more realism. So all these little solder blobs are not that hard to do. I highly recommend having a chisel tip. At least me, this is my personal preference. I really like the chisel tip because it lets you to touch down with a very fine point and feed in your solder very quickly. Again, hot and quick is how I solder. That's where I get the best results with my meager skills, is hot and fast. That's what she said. There we go. We finally got one of those jokes in. Okay. But yeah, that's that. So our solder blobs are done, and off to the races we shall go with adding the upright resistors with the white heat shrink tubing that go right here. So we're gonna get those done next, and that's a fun little process. A little tedious. I've got a little, how I do it. Oh my God, can I zoom out a little, please? There we go. I've got a little thing on how I do it. I'll show you how, and it makes life easier and gives you consistent results on your little upright resistors. It just makes everything look nice when everything's uniform, because those Sanyo circuit boards that were soldered together in Japan by skilled professionals, everything's quality control in Japan. I would be fired at the Sanyo factory in a hot minute. Just looking at my transistors, they're pretty close to perfect, but not Japanese perfect. But we can only strive for mediocrity on this channel. We'll be right back. Okay, striving for some, process simplification assembly line action going on. If we look at the instructions for these guys, it has you cutting 14 lengths of 13 millimeter white shrink tube. Done. Putting them on there, and then this right here. This third photo with the lighter and the one thing. Heat gun lighter doesn't matter. I can save some time, I think. And make things a little less torturous. There we go. So these weren't on a tape runner. These are on a tape runner. These are going to get the same treatment. So I'm just going to pull off one end of the tape runner and do the same thing here. Focus. And we've just got our heat gun going. Sorry for the noise. But this is really all we're going to do. And that'll get all 7 done at once. There we go. Okay, I'm going to save you from that torturous sound. I'll be right back. Okay, here's the spoils of our labor. Nice little bits of shrink wrap on each tube. Here's our little blue and green and yellow and gold bits. So we got 7 of each. And now we need to, as per the instructions, fold over a small screwdriver. Now this is a pH 0. Okay, we're going to do that. And then we want a little kink. Oh, get your minds out of the gutters. We want a little bit of a kink to make like a little almost an R. Okay? Or a question mark or whatever. There, that's that. We got to do this 13 more times, and we'll be right back. Okay, well, we've got some nice picture-perfect results there. Look at that. Once you get them soldered in, they could be all, cattywampus and crooked and whatnot. Just use your needle nose, preferably smooth-jawed with no serrated teeth on them. Use your needle nose pliers and your fingers and your screwdrivers or whatever you need, and just get them lined up nicely. And I guess we got 7. Hello, we got 7 more to do. So we will be right back. Okay, well, we're done with all of those. Now, as you're aligning them with pliers or other instruments, you could actually end up gouging the heat shrink and leaving little marks in it. Now, it's not the end of the world. I mean, as long as you don't cut all the way through. But if you are handling these with pliers or like a screwdriver or something, break out the heat gun. If you hit that heat shrink with a heat gun after you have everything placed right where you want it, it actually self-heals the heat shrink tubing and takes out any dents or nicks you may have put in it with your pliers or forceps or screwdrivers or whatever the heck you're using to manipulate the alignment of these, because you do need to tweak them a bit after you solder them on, because they all go a little cattywampus. But yeah, beautiful. We're so zoomed in. I almost never do videos like this, zoomed all the way in. But we've got this whole bottom half pretty buttoned up. Obviously, we got to glue the chips on and put on the big Sanyo capacitor thing, I guess. I don't know what that is. Yeah, you got me. I'm sure it's in the instructions. I'm sure Dave just labeled it with the proper component name, as he always does. After this, oh dear, Nixie tubes probably coming up pretty soon. Oh, we got some capacitors. These little ceramic disc capacitors. I think I got the name right. Someone will correct me for sure. We'll be right back with a little bit more. Well, here's a solution to a problem that shouldn't exist, because I should have had quick setting epoxy to glue these chips on. But I do not, and I'm too lazy to get in my car and go drive and get some. What I do have is some UV Cure resin. This stuff is one of my new favorite products in the universe. This stuff is ridiculous. It's like one of my go-to glues, actually. It's crystal clear. It's rock hard when it dries. It bonds to damn near anything I've tried it on. And there's no smell, and it's just, there's no hazing from like CA glue. So I'm going to put a little bit of this Mr. Resin on here. And I think, what's the big, there's a big brand of resin. I forget the name. It eludes me. But we'll put our chip into place. Okay, and you're like, well, you got to cure it with UV light. How are you going to get that under there? A little piece of Mylar film, and that'll bounce the light underneath the chip and cure the UV resin. There we go. Problem solved that I should never had, because if I read the instructions, which I did, it said quick cure epoxy, which I didn't buy. And yeah, that's that. But this stuff, it cures rock hard. It's not gonna drip. It's pretty cool stuff, and it lets you work it a little bit while you're curing it if you want to make sure you have all your chips properly aligned. But I'm not gonna jinx myself by doing this 100% live on camera. But yeah, you get the little UV flashlight, and there we go. Couple minutes of holding a flashlight, and these things are on there forever. Okay, so just in case you don't have epoxy glue, but you have some clear resin, Solarez, that's the big brand. That crap's expensive on Amazon now. I have no idea. It cures even faster, the Solarez. This stuff takes about 2 to 4 minutes, depending. Taking a little long on here, taking closer to the 4-minute mark, 5-minute mark I'm spending on each chip. But you know what? I didn't have to go out and buy something else. I used what I had, and yeah, it's already locked into place really well. And I'm just gonna keep curing it for an extra couple minutes because I'm a glutton for punishment. But there you go, clear resin. It's gonna be one of your new favorite, like, glue anything to anything. It's fantastic for installing LEDs in model kits because it's dead clear. So it won't haze up the LED. You could literally put a puddle of this in a hole, shove the LED in it, into the puddle of it, and cure it, and it locks your LED in place and does not affect opacity or light transmission whatsoever. It is God's gift to modeling, especially when you're doing things with LED lights. But we'll be back after we cure our resin. Well, after a few minutes of curing with the UV light, all of our chips are in. Alarms, reminders. The older you get, the more reminders you need. I have like 17 alarms set on my phone for different things throughout the day. But yeah, there we go. All those chips, nice. Lovely. And they're all spaced correctly, unlike my first board where I had this chip just flat down on the deck because I forgot to put the damn spacer under it when I glued them on. Well, soldered them on. Yeah, very nice. It's getting there. It's getting there. We're moving on to the Nixie tube shelf and little VFD tubes, whatever they want to call them. Yeah. So, oh boy, fun stuff coming. Be right back. Okay, so we're ready to start putting on the VFD tube stuff. Here's the shelf. We had primed, we painted it with the Mr. Hobby Mr. Finishing Surfacer, and we cleared it with some Mr. Hobby semi-gloss clear. So it's a nice satiny finish there. So we'll put you down there. We got our little error box. We have some wire. We have our little rubber grommets for the ends of the Nixie tubes for to hold them steady. Pretty similar affair if you built the older board, except that the error box is now a separate component that doesn't have its own built-in light. It's just going to lay on top of the LED board, which we do also need at this point to bring back into play. Yeah, there's a little error box. We'll just sit on that last light right there. Okay, well, I'm going to start reading some instructions, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, we peeled off our double-sided tape covering, and we've got our LEDs in there, and you got to make sure they're spaced so that they're dead centered, because there are metal contacts on there you don't want touching. Even though this thing is fully painted, you don't want to create. Oh, I still had some music playing. You don't want to create a potential short circuit. So there we go. That's that, and on to the next step. Okay, to get the red wire into the error box, it wants you to put, well, you cut 3 different lengths. It's all in the instructions. But it doesn't specifically call out this technique. So it wants you to get the wires through in the top and bottom holes and have them come out an even distance. So what you do is get them started and hold them together dead even, and then you can pull them straight out, and that way they stay dead even. Kind of simple, but I thought I'd share that. It's just it might help a couple people out. All right, be right back. Okay, so our little error box is all attached. Pretty simple. And we got to put in our little O-rings there, our little grommets, I should say, grommets, for the Nixie tubes or the VFD tubes. Interchangeable terms in my mind, but go ahead and discuss amongst yourselves. The original 3D printed VFD Nixie shelf, they're just U-shaped cutouts, and this new one, they're not. They're that. So they really snap into place much more positively and will be retained better by this new aluminum shelf. Now we get enough of these for every opening, so I guess we'll put one in there. Why the hell not? Well, there we go. You get 9 of those little rubber doohickeys. I'll throw one in to the. There's nothing above the error box on the V1.2 kit, but yeah, there we go. And then obviously, these things will end up like that. Oh yeah, quite nice. And they're all gonna light up beautifully. And now we've got to deal with our octopuses. Attach the battery. Okay, so now we're doing some maintenance stuff. We're gonna attach the battery cable permanently, and we're gonna mount the display shelf into its home. And at that point, yep, okay, there we go. Oh, they've got, this little thing, this little block, it's another fixture, another jig to hold the nut while you're tightening it on the shelf instead of having to get in there with pliers and scratch up your black paint. That's a very thoughtful touch. Very thoughtful. Okay, we're going to get on to that and get our stuff sorted out here. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're at the point where we've connected our battery cable and connected our circuit board of LEDs back into the main board. Make sure underneath here there is no bits of metal, because there's all these little bits of, resistor and whatnot leads that are floating around, and, clipped off stuff. You've clipped your solder joints, to clip off the excess. Make sure the surface underneath this is clear to not have any short circuits. And we are going to function test. Ba-boom! She's good. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. And good. All right. Function test over. Disconnect battery, and now we got to bolt this tray to the circuit board. We've got this, and we've got these, and this looks like a slightly bigger nut. Let's see here. It is indeed bigger than 5 millimeters. So let's go ahead, whip out our big boy. I'm just assuming it's 6. Nope, it's bigger than 6 millimeters, which is the biggest nut driver we have there. We don't need a nut driver. We have the jig. Oh, jeez. Good thinking, Dave. Good thinking. Very good thinking. Dropped the little nut into that fella right there, and that'll help us. It's so much. Jeez, that's good. Okay, enough kissing Dave's butt. I don't want his ego to get too big, even though he makes the best gizmo on planet Earth. Yeah, really. Okay, we'll be right back. Well, that was easy. We've got that thing bolted down. Look at how cool the top of that looks. That is sick. And we got it bolted in. Function test. Okay, good. You want to do this fairly regularly, just in case, you just want to make sure that you haven't buggered something up by accident. And there we go. Okay. So we got all these wires. These are going to have to get soldered in to the main board. And let's see what we got going on next. Okay. Repeat the steps of the second nut and bolt. We've already done that. Okay, yeah. We gotta strip off a little bit of this wire. I hope to God that didn't make it on the microphone. Beans, magical fruit. You know how it goes. Okay, so we're gonna strip off a little bit of this jacket and get these soldered in here. Tweezers become your friend at this point, everybody. Tweezers. Have them, use them, love them. Cherish thine tweezers. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, on to the VFD/Nixie tubes. We got 8 of these, and we need 8 wires coming out of each one. It's not quite every other wire. Close enough, but, we got to do that 8 times to weed all those out. And then we got to trim up a whole bunch of heat shrink tubing. We've got black, and we've got red, and we've got clear. And we need to cut all of these to specific lengths, which is, it just takes a little time, like everything else. And just in case, we went out and got some of this stuff real quick. It took me 10 minutes. It's right down the street. 5-minute Gorilla Epoxy, because I think these little Sanyo chips, they used to be 3D printed with little pegs on the back, with 2 pegs that would push through 2 holes in the board, and then you just melt the back of the pegs on. This appears to be a beautiful resin pour. Based on the super high gloss back finish, this looks like a black resin pour. So we're probably going to need to glue these on. And since I really can't get a UV light in there very well, I figured I might as well get the darned epoxy while I can before the store closes. And I'd like to... I'm getting a little stiff. I'd like to finish this tonight. We've only been at this for about... in actual work time, maybe 3 hours. In sitting down here time, probably like 7. There's the dogs to attend to, and bathroom breaks to have, and obviously me talking on the video here. So either way, we'll be right back with some VFD tube action. Okay, all our little octopuses are done, our Nixie tubes. Okay, we got the other 7 right here. Now, be very fastidious with your shrink wrap tubing, because you don't get a ton to spare. This is what we have left exactly after cutting all our bits. That's it. So, Dave gives you enough to do everything, but his measurements to the millimeter, he means it. Please follow those millimeter instructions. So now that we've done that, I don't recommend a lighter for this. Personally, it could leave some black soot on the shrink wrap, and I'd rather not have that. Speaking of which, the Makita held up great. This whole kit, we started with a fresh battery, and we've still got 2 bars of battery life left out of this 5 amp hour battery. So, not a bad investment. Actually, a terrible investment. It was very expensive heat gun. Okay, go to Harbor Freight, get the $20 one. That being said, we're gonna scroll in our instructions. Yeah, and now we've got to start putting these Nixie tubes in. We're gonna start from heat outside, and we're gonna work our way in. This is where, again, everybody, tweezers are your friend. Make sure you have some good, fine tweezers, preferably with flat tips. Jesus, Ian, what did you do to this thing? Oh, my poor tweezers. That's what I get for buying the cheapest crap on Amazon. Okay. So yeah, we got to tweeze these in. The back legs go in first, and then, go with the clear, and then the black, and then the front red ones. It's a bit of a fiddly process. But after you get the first one done, you kind of figure it out after 1 or 2, and then you're kind of zooming along to the races. So we will be right back. Okay, here's how I do it, okay? I'll get the 2 back red wires in first, then I'll tape down the tube very well. And then we'll come in with our tweezers and get our other wires in their little homes. Oh, you know, get those in there. You really do need the tweezers. In my humble idiot's opinion, tweezers are key. Get those wires in there. Wearing my magnifiers probably wouldn't be a bad idea because this is a fairly low contrast procedure we're doing here. Okay. Oh, I'm not in the camera. Sorry, everybody. You can see where we're going here. And we're going to get that feller in there. And then get that sucker in there. And now they're all in. Okay. And they're going to stay where they are. They're not going anywhere. And then we can turn it over and solder all those and snip off the excess. So we will be right back after some soldering. All right. There we go. Don't say I never showed you nothing. But that's the procedure. It's just get the back two in, tape down the VFT, curve them out properly, and then just follow along with all the other little wires in the holes. There we go. It's never going to be, 100% consistent or perfectly accurate. I think, in my opinion, it's once it's all done, it's so busy, you're not going to notice anything. We'll be right back. Okay, we got 3 in so far. A lot of soldering. They're just there, it just takes time. You want to get all the wires in there just right. But oh boy, it goes easier. Like I said, after the first one, you can kind of fly through them a bit easier. But we'll be right back. Okay, another helpful little tip. I don't know if you can even see me, but I'm grabbing all these wires, and these are from the VFD tubes, and I'm grabbing them and I'm pulling them and separating them. This will make soldering more easy by giving you some clearance, and by pulling them up, we're pulling a bunch of the slack out of the heat shrink. And by having them spread out a bit, we definitely get better clearance for our soldering iron tip. Always tin your tip a little bit. Oh, come on. Get in there. I was just about to say, this is, in my opinion, probably faster than hot glue. Well, it certainly dries faster than hot glue. Shoes already solid. They're ready to go. And always wipe and brush your tip. Oh, Jesus. It was just personal hygiene classes from Pit Stain over here. The screen name is not likely to bring that image to mind. But yeah, then we're just going to snip off our excess. And we have a nice, even differential of length. And there we go. Number 6 is in. The last 2 go just like that. Just little tips. BRB. Okay. All our Nixie / VFD tubes are in. Okay, Saturday. Like I said, after the first one, they all go pretty easy after that. It looks slick. I like the whole. It just has a different vibe with the brown circuit board. It just feels a bit cooler. I don't know why. Probably because I know it's more movie accurate. But yeah, there we go. Next thing, we got to get the little pancake ceramic resistor, capacitor, whatever the hell they are. We got to get those little ceramic doohickeys in, and then I think the chips, and then then I think Bob's your uncle, and we're just about done. All right, we'll be right back. And voila, our ceramic disc capacitors are soldered in place. You want that pattern. So kind of like angly, overlapping a tiny bit pattern. Try to get pretty close to that. It's not that hard. Next thing you know, we don't have a lot left to do. We got our little 4125 Sanyo chips and the E172C capacitor. Of course it is, Dave. So pedantic. I love it. I love it. And of course, your completed daughterboard assembly. Okay, we're right near the finish line here, everybody. I'm very excited. We will be right back. This little son of a... This is a little tricky, actually, surprisingly. Maybe I'll do it better this time. Last time, it did give me a little bit of a fight, but I'll be right back. Oh my god! And then there were two. Yeah, so... Contact. That one takes a little bit longer to start up, the older one. So, oh yeah. Oh, it's awesome. It is so choice. I highly recommend it. Look at that thing. Look at that gorgeous thing we've made. Look at all those little... Oh, it's so beautiful. The daughter board itself. I'm loving this little daughter board, too. That is absolutely a thing of beauty. This one's currently running on a 9-volt. And this one's running on our mains adapter. And there's that GB1 daughter board. Still cool. Still very cool. And we can swap them back and forth as we see fit. But man, this thing... Even the VFD tubes, if you notice the little Nixies, like these have a bluish tinge to them. And these have more of a tannish, brownish tinge to them. So it carries on that whole theme of brown circuit board. I don't know if that was intentional or it's meant to be more accurate, but I like it. It definitely looks good. And let's try the different settings here. There we go. And that. Okay, those are the same. And then that and that. Knight Rider. Same. And then the glowy. This one might be a bit faster on the pulsating. And then the next mode should be the random linkies. Okay, same between both boards. And then the next mode is the seizure inducing. I think this one's a little friskier on that. I think it has more bulbs lit up at once than this fella. But the camera's playing some tricks here also, but I'm seeing it with my own two eyes. Then the next mode... see, this one's solid. And the next mode is rainbow. And this one, the next mode, is that spread out from the center. So we got two extra modes that we didn't have in the 8410. Way to go. Then we got solid. And then we got rainbows. Man, these things are sick. These are just so cool. I'm beside myself. I'm very honored to have not just one of these, but two of these. I was very lucky to be able to buy this one. For anyone thinking it, Dave did not give this one to me. Even Sean Charlesworth, I believe, on the Tested channel, one of Adam Savage's team members, he's a massive Ghostbusters freakzoid. He bought his too, okay? We all bought them. So that's that. But yeah, two. This one, the hardest part was these chips. Getting those seated in, that was the hardest part. Second hardest part was the Sanyo on here. On this one, I felt the hardest part was probably the Sanyo, the 172, and a close second was gluing these on, because these had pins that clicked into holes, and then you just melt them on the back with the solder iron. These, let them sit for a few minutes too. before you finally, because the glue thickens up a little, the epoxy, and then, you know, get your fine tuning of where you want them. But, oh boy, these are awesome. I'm very happy. Dave, thank you for making these. I'm going to get a little 9-volt battery eliminator. It's just a little connector that clips on to this, and that way we can power both of these with AC adapters. Man, that's cool. Oh, it's so awesome. And then the buttons are a little more hidden in here. There we go. Oh, I'm going through patterns. I want colors. And this might have more colors. I got to learn the buttons here. There we go. Oh no, I screwed up. Gotta remember, one side's color, one side's... There we go. Oh no! Yeah, this thing has more colors too. That has one green. This has like 2 greens. Oh, wait. And then white, red, yellow, green. No, it only has 1 green. Okay, I was wrong. Very cool. This colors are ever so slightly different. Possibly the tint of the VFD tubes are slightly different. Also, just to note, the top view. Okay, so you have your power switch in the center here on the new one with the 2 little momentary buttons on either side, and all functional electronics for the most part. And this one, we have the neat, tidy control panel, which I do really like as well, and the power cord is coming right out the top there. With this one, it's hidden in the back. They're just awesomeness. Just such awesomeness. I love these things. These are great. There we go. Okay, well that's that. And we could swap daughter boards if we want to. So we could put a GB1 daughter board on this one. Throw the Afterlife board over here. I'll tell you, the Afterlife board, it's got more heft to it. That EEPROM is a chunky little beast. So there we go. Oh man. Okay. And of course we do have a holster for the new one to go. Oh boy. So it won bronze. This won bronze at Wonderfest 2023, which is no small task. I entered a couple models just like, you know, what the hell? It's my first time entering models. And this thing got a bronze, which is, there was over 1,000 models in that competition. There was a lot of models in the movie props division. And I'm going to put this one in next year. I hope they can tell the difference. I might have to bring both and say, don't judge this one. This is from last year. Please judge this one. It is new and improved and just completely friggin' awesome. Okay, Dave, 2 thumbs up. Fantastic job done. Your Wonderfest Metal and Pit Stain Hobby stickers. I'm actually waiting for a new batch of stickers, so I can give you 2 different cool stickers. We'll be in at the end of the week, and your little things will go out for your model winning the bronze. Well, your kit. I mean, your model kit. Whatever. I don't know how we classify these things. It's a model kit of a prop replica, I suppose. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Go to ectolabs.net or Ectolabs on Facebook, and you can get on the waiting list for one of these fellas, and they will notify you when the next batch is coming up for pre-sale. They're done in small batches, so you gotta be on your toes. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Awesome. Oh man, I love it when a plan comes together. Oh wait, that's the A-team. Son of a. All right. Well, have fun with your big Twinkies, everybody. I'll see you next time.